league executives, they took a poll of league executives, and they came up with their favorites for the AFC, which was Buffalo. I don't think there's a big surprise there. And the NFC, which they said was the 49ers. So they have a Buffalo Bills, San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl. That's according to a poll done polling the league executives, which to me I find interesting. I do think the 49ers talent-wise are right there. And actually Vegas right now has them number 2 in the NFC behind the Eagles. So Vegas is even starting to prop them up quite a bit. I don't know. I think it's a little too early to crown them like favorites in the NFC. That's just me, though. They got to prove something. They got to beat at least one good team that's not the Seattle Seahawks in week 2. Just give me a quality win or two, please. That's all I need.
Look, I predicted Niners Buffalo Super Bowl. Yep. A lot of people did. Yep. So to me, this is just a lot of people sort of confirming their priors, saying it's exactly what I thought. I feel like you could have said this week 0. And what kills me is no one would have said this coming off that Chiefs game. When the Niners were coming off back-to-back double-digit losses, no one would have said, with their chest, Niners are going to that Super Bowl. But they beat the Rams and have a week off, and everyone's like, boom, scariest team in the league. I mean, maybe, but it just feels like people are disregarding the entire season and saying I'm sticking with my original prediction, which is fair because I feel like I've learned nothing about the 49ers through the first 9 weeks. Nothing, literally nothing about this team. I have no idea what to make of them. So that's fair. But I also feel like what the Eagles are doing is legit, and I wouldn't just write them off because they're like on the come up and, the new kids on the block, whatever.
Yeah, that's the way it always is. There's always a team that comes out of nowhere that's completely disrespected because they haven't proven it yet. Like, this is not a new thing.
Seattle too.
This team in 2019.
Correct. And in 2011.
Yes.
And those teams are dangerous. The teams that kill me are the teams like the Niners, who've been around for a long time, who are media darlings. Everyone picked them to win. They underperform. They win one freaking game, and they're like, boom, we're back. Like, no, you guys are inconsistent as hell. Beat the Chargers. Don't tell me that you're back because you beat the Rams. Like, you always beat the Rams. The Rams suck. They're not a measuring stick. Like, beat the Chargers. I'm not saying they can't. In fact, I think they will. But they're 0-3 against the AFC this year. There's something strange. Like, you could just chalk up the first half of the season to the Niners being, it's what they do. It's their process. Right. It's their process. They did it last year too. Or something's wrong. So I guess we'll find out.
Well, they also have the 49ers 10th in power rankings, I think, in the NFL as well right now. They have them ahead of the Jets, who just beat the Bills and I think they're 6-3.
See, that to me, the Niners are a lot of hype. And you could say they deserve it because they've been together and they've accomplished things, but they haven't won a Super Bowl. It's not like these aren't the Golden State Warriors where like, hey, man, they'll figure it out. They're a champion. They have championship pedigree. They don't.
Right.
They do not. They've just been together a long time, and they believe in themselves, I guess. But I don't know.
The league executive thing, I guess I can understand because, again, I think the second half of the schedule is set up prime for a run. They play 7 of their 9 games are against scoring defenses that are in the bottom 10. The 2 that they don't are like middle of the pack. So it's the schedule set up. But
and they got McCaffrey, no excuses. No excuses. Right. They got McCaffrey, no excuses. Yeah.
Right. And power rankings are right now, though. Like, who's just in this moment? I don't understand how you put the 49ers above a team like the Jets, who just beat the Bills and are 6-3. I don't understand that.
It feels like a projection. Like, this is who I think the Niners should be. Right. And yeah, we all feel that way. We think they should be better than they are.
Absolutely.
But the whole story of the 2022 49ers is that they're underperforming. And the question is why? And what kills me is one win against the Rams and a bye week, and everyone's like, well, that's all over with. Well, hold on. Slow down. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. The way I look at it is beating the Rams indicates nothing in 2022. Right. But it's fair for Niner fans to be like, hey, we got Christian McCaffrey, Debo's coming back. All of a sudden, our team is healthy. Watch out. That could be true, too. I don't know, but I'm not even willing to project. I have no idea. I'm just an interested observer over here, trying to see what the Niners can do. We know they've underperformed. Let's see them step up.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if we're just looking at a team on paper, if this was a preseason power ranking, I get it. But the Jets just beat the Bills, and you do a week to week power ranking for a reason, because you're going based off of what teams have most recently done. Well, one team had a bye and beat the Rams that they always beat, who are a bad football team, by the way.
Bad.
The other team, everybody thought they were a fluke, and they just beat the Bills. I mean, you can't give them any love.
And you say, like, so the Niners won this poll, also the Bills did. Well, that again indicates that these executives aren't going to back off their preseason projections based off what just happened. The Bills just lost.
Right.
Robert Saleh exposed them. Shout out Robert Saleh, by the way. I'm so proud of him. Because, look, I'm not a judge. I just knew him personally. And I felt like, man, this guy's authentic. He's a legit leader. He's a legit teacher. He's positive. He brings the best out of people. I think he's going to be a good head coach. And it's so far so good. So I'm proud of him. Good for you, Robert.
He's done a fantastic job. And the crazy thing is his quarterback's really not doing anything right now.
They would be better off this season with Jimmy. With Jimmy. They would. But to their credit, they're not going to a crutch like that. They're like, you know what? We're going to figure it out and win with our young quarterback and trust the process and hope and trust that if we can find ways to win when he's young in years 1 and 2, he just might have a opportunity to be really freaking good in years 3 and 4. He's doing everything right. The Niners never gave Trey that opportunity, or haven't yet. The Jets are. The Jets are. They're really doing great over there.
They're going to know by the end of next year if they have their guy, and the 49ers are not. Unless Trey comes out and just balls. Then you will.
And what's great about that for the Jets is if they determine Wilson isn't the one, they don't have to extend him. They can let him go. And they can be like, it cost us a first-round pick, but didn't cost us a lot of money. And we'll just draft another one. As opposed to the Niners, who could get to the very end of Trey Lance's rookie deal and be like, we still don't know. Right. We still don't know. And maybe he has like 5 good games right at the end. They're like, oh, boom, there it is. $500 million contract. And it was a mirage. It's the same thing they did with Jimmy Garoppolo, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Dave says, I bought Lance jersey day after his draft. Hope he stays with the team for a while, but he needs team support, not just Ayuk. Yeah.
You can't argue with that.
There were just so many vets on this team that I feel like didn't really want to trust the process, because the quarterback in his first year. Look at Jalen Hurts, the completion percentage, the quarterback rating. It could be kind of low the first year, but if you trust the process, look what happens year 3. You actually have a guy who could win you a Super Bowl, as opposed to what the Niners have. Timothy Glander says, do you trust Kyle Shanahan to keep Trey healthy and let him throw the damn ball? Because I don't. Let Trey get fully healthy and have an offseason with CMC and Debo. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think Kyle's another guy who I don't think is like really willing to trust the process, because he's so deep into his tenure. He doesn't have that kind of time. He doesn't. Justin Fields has a first-year coach. Jalen Hurts has a second-year coach. I think you kind of have to be on the same timeline. That was my question with Trey Lance, bringing in a project for Kyle. Kyle's under 500. You don't got that kind of time.
I went back and read a quote recently after that injury, and Shanahan ended it by saying that they're not going to change anything that they were doing with Trey Lance. So unless you got to change a heart, no, I don't think they're going to change anything, unfortunately.
Can I just call bullshit real quick? Hey, Kyle, I would love to see you run Trey Lance between the tackles again. You could say it, but I don't even think Jed York's going to let you do it. So, hey, do you remember? Here's one. So, Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL, comes back 2019.
19, yep.
They run Philly special in training camp. in front of Jed York and the fans. Philly special. That's just a 2-point conversion play where the quarterback runs a little flat route and catches a pass. Jed York goes up to Kyle after practice and says, "What the hell was that?" Don't do that. And that's a story. Kyle tells it to the press. You can look it up. Hey, run in between the tackles again, dog. I dare you.
He just has reckless abandon for some of these players, man. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Dave Barclay says, "Oh yeah, how are we? Jesus number 5, 4-4."
Basically, how are we after
ranked?
Number 5,
how are we ranked number 5 or 4-4?
I don't know.
Yeah, look, it's possible that the Niners are that team. I just don't understand why beating the Rams makes you feel that way. It just feels like if you say that, you felt that way before the season, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
At this point, because it's like I said, the Niners would go to the playoffs to go to the Super Bowl too, with Trey, and I feel, but there was a large contingent of people that felt that the Niners were going to be better with Jimmy. So one big win over the Rams, and they're like, boom, that's exactly what I was envisioning. Okay.
Well, I mean, they also did add CMC. I mean, that's a big get. It's not like they had CMC at the beginning of the year and then they went to Jimmy. Like they switched over to Jimmy and then they added CMC to this team. So they should be better. The
California Music Channel? Is that what CMC?
Oh, that's the country music channel, isn't it?
No, you don't know. It's like a public act. It was like Channel 8 out here in the Bay when I was a kid. Terrible.
And they play all the public access, but it was like sketchy stuff back in the day.
Dabuda says at this point, let's just ride Jimmy to the bone. Pause. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, you could do that. Dave Barclay says, still think Kyle is out of ideas. I'm sorry. What were you thinking? I don't even know what he's talking about with that. Hold on. We have to regroup.
I don't know. You can do that.
I don't even know what that means. All right, Dave Barclay says, still think Kyle's out of ideas, but I may be wrong. Just a fan forever. Kyle pisses me off when we win, so great talent, mediocre output. Yeah, I mean, he didn't need new ideas to beat the Rams. They got the Rams number, but you don't know the Chargers, and you might need some new ideas to beat Arizona. I can't wait for the Miami game. I can't freaking wait for Mike McDaniel to come to town. Man, that's going to be wonderful. I wish the Jets were on the schedule too. A couple more. AK49er says Niners are playing the long game. We are built for December, January, February as a running game, and defense travels.
I don't disagree with that. They just got to make it first, which it seems like they should, but sure would be nice to win the division. If they lose to Seattle and don't win the division, all of a sudden you're possibly the 7th seed. That's not the way that you want to go into the playoffs. They want to get that 3rd seed. They got to get that 3rd seed.
It's hard to say the Niners are built for January when their quarterback is atrocious in January. It's hard to say that. But I feel you, AK49er. Chuggy Wuggy says, I love you, Grant. Sending a heartfelt huggy wuggy. Thank you. Thank you. That was really,
Care Bear?
That was super random. Seth says, everyone says Jimmy's 8-0 against the Rams. If I remember, Nick Mullins won 2 of those games. Actually, Trey coming before week 17. Yeah, man, I'm just not super impressed by beating the Rams. I think it's great. I don't forget losing, getting smacked by Atlanta.
Yeah.
That just lost to beat up, terrible Chargers. So show me that was a fluke. I want to believe that was a fluke, but I can't forget it.
The Chargers are in bad shape too. Going into that Atlanta game, they're physically is beat up every bit as much as the 49ers were going into that Atlanta game.
That's true.
And they figured out a way to get it done.